Champions are not born, they are forged, tempered and shaped by the fires of competition. Each year, the nation's best amateur racers enter the flames of the Sports Car Club of America Runoffs, a single, winner-take-all event. This year, the Runoffs returns to Road America, one of the world's greatest and most challenging tracks. Over 500 drivers will take the green in the 48th annual Runoffs. Only 28 will emerge as national champions. The SCCA Runoffs, next on Speedcast TV.
Welcome to coverage of the 48th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs at Road America. Jim Trado alongside of Dorsey Schrader. This is the Spec Racer Ford category. Dorsey, 37 cars ready to take this track for 13 laps to determine our national champion.
All these cars, Spec Racers, are equal. Everything about them is equal. The weight, the bodies, the engines, everything. And what it means is that any one of these 37 cars is capable of winning.
And somehow, some way, as equal as these cars are, Brian Schofield has been able to manage his way to win last year's race, and he will lead this field to green. Unfortunately for the rest of the guys, he's had a great season.
He has had a great season. He's run 7 races and won 5 of those 7, which is a huge statistic in a Spec series like this. You have to be brutally smooth. That's one way I used to say it anyway. You just can't scrub off speed. It's a momentum car. Drafting, huge deal here.
He is our defending race winner here as well in the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, the Spec Racer Ford SRF category. One glimmer of hope for these competitors. He came back here in June to run the June sprints. He finished 7th. He didn't win that one.
Well, this is a class where you really need to know how to draft, how it works, and you need to know your competitors around you, because I'm telling you, these guys are going to run in packs, big packs of cars, and you have to work with one another, otherwise you'll just drop back.
Brian Schofield led every lap of this event last year, and 2 years ago led every lap but the final half a lap. So in terms of Schofield being able to pace out front, we've seen in other spec categories, it may not be the best place to be, but Schofield has found a way to be successful.
Yeah, it's not always the place you want to be in the lead, particularly on that last lap with these kind of cars. But, you feel that out as you go through the race. You see where you're strong and where other guys are good. But, it's not written. It's not a textbook thing here. You really have to feel it out. And what you'd love to do is get maybe a 5-car breakaway and leave the other guys behind you, because it's just 37 cars is going to be busy out there.
And with 28 different divisions, the track time is so critical to get it right. First day, second day, Schofield set his fastest lap on the final day, one of the very few guys to do that.
Not a lot of adjustments on these cars that you can do either. I mean, you've got tire pressures, you've got sway bars that, they're not big adjustments. There's shock absorber adjustments, but pretty much basically once you've got your car the way you like it, it stays the same every track you go to. Aero changes. I mean, if I was here running one of these cars, I would make sure that my body fit was as clean and perfect as I could, because straightaway speed's king here.
So you're talking about when the front bodywork kind of hinges on the front of the car, in front of the cockpit.
The gaps.
How do you do that? Do you actually add Bondo? Do you actually make them tighter? Do you get a different clamp?
There's actually adjustments on the bodies on these, on the nose, the tail, and the center section. The center section's pretty much locked in place, but the nose and tail have little pivots on them that you can raise and lower. You want to get a good shape to the body, front to back, and clean it up as much as you can. I mean, everything in a spec class, it makes a big difference. Any little bitty thing that you can do helps.
Is there never enough coats of wax on these cars?
That's another thing, a clean body versus a dirty body. And you'll see it, because these cars get crashed around a lot because they run so close to each other. And if you've got body work that's not fitting properly, if you've got a dirtier car, that aero drag, it's going to make a big difference on these 3 long straightaways here.
We see a good look from the back to the front of our false grid of the Spec Racer Fords about to take to the course here at Road America. 5 different divisional champions, and talk about combining the best of the best, coming to the Olympics of amateur road racing here at Road America. Some of these drivers have seen this course. Some have raced on it a lot this summer. Central Division had 2 different races in June and back here in July. Some of these guys have been here for over a week. So it's really a challenge here, kind of matching wits and matching abilities here.
I think if you race at this racetrack a lot, it's a big advantage, no doubt about it. You really get used to it. This is an unusual course in that it's 4 miles long, and this is 3 straightaways instead of 1 straightaway. So, I mean, you really need to know how to get around this place.
The racers are strapping in the 2011 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, brought to you in HD by Volkswagen. Continue here in a moment on SpeedcastTV.com. Stay tuned.
This portion of the 48th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Black Magic Car Care Products, And by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.
And we are about ready to get underway with a 13-lap or 40-minute timed event in the Spec Racer Ford category. 37 cars await on the false grid, their formation lap. And their chance to warm up a bit here, Dorsey. It's a bit of a chilly feel in the air right now.
Yeah, it is, and there's a lot of anxiety down there underneath those helmets right now. These guys thinking about what they got to do in the next 40 minutes, and it's going to be a 37-car war.
We're talking about bump drafting. We're talking about side drafting in terms of, and that's really just the aerodynamic play and the experiences you mentioned here at Road America with all these long straightaways. The SCCA National Championship runoffs have been held at Road Atlanta. They've been held at Mid-Ohio, which is more of a smaller technical course, I would say, then at Topeka, which is a fairly open air event. This has a lot of different factors here. It's a very long course to begin with.
Yeah, what's unusual here is that there are 3 straightaways, not one. You've got this front straightaway where you get the start, finish, and checkered flag here. You've got that run into turn 5, which technically is the longer straightaway. It's downhill, so you get more top speed there. And then you've got the run out of the kink all the way down into Canada Corner. So 3 long straightaways. These cars draft really, really good with one another if you're working with someone that knows how the draft works. And that's the problem.
And we've got one more gentleman who's been around the block about 16 times here at the SCCA National Championship runoffs, joining us for the 16th straight year, John Bizignano on pit road. Biz?
Well, I think Brian Schofield has said it all with what's in his side view mirror there. Of course, Brian has the credentials to have such a slogan in his mirror. But here we are, Spec Racer Ford once again. And every year I talk about Spec Racer Ford and what it means to the Sports Car Club of America. These cars are spec cars. That means that they are built to all the same specifications. And I'm going to get Corey to stand up here and take a look down this grid. Everyone at home, ladies and gentlemen, could be on this grid. This is the type of racing that you have to get off the couch for one more year. Don't sit there and look at these cars going by from the couch year after year after year. It's not that difficult to get a Spec Racer Ford. Get it used. You don't need a new one. They're all the same. Spec tires. Go to SCCA, driver schools, regional racing, and on to national racing. Some people have said to me, Biz, I did it. I got off the couch, and this is my very first SCCA National Championship. It also can happen to you. It's one of the largest fields, over 30 cars. They're going to be running nose to tail, hey, Dorsey, you got off the couch a long time ago, buddy, but you know what it's like to drive these cars? I can't say enough about momentum and keeping that draft. You can't get separated from the top leaders in this class.
Absolutely intense racing. I mean, these guys are going to be right on top of each other. You literally do push each other. You can bump draft each other. You side draft off one another, but you have to be with guys that know how the system works. And what I mean by that is you can carry that draft like down into turn 5, or at the very last minute you have to break away enough that you have enough margin of error that if somebody locks up a tire or something, you don't get into a big old shebang, And you will see some pretty good ones here, I would think.
Tactically speaking, that's Dorsey Schrader. The shebang hopefully doesn't happen for these racers. One game changer in 2011 that was not part of the plan or part of the program last year, Richard Spicer. Spicer is back. He's going to give Schofield everything he's got.
Yeah, these guys, all these guys in the top 10, you look at the names here, they're nobody new there. You got Scott Reddick in there, Jeff Beck, guys that I raced against. I won this pro championship in 1985. That's a long time ago.
We need to know a little something about this, but talk about how prestigious the runoffs can be to lead into a professional career.
This is the toughest thing to win. I've said that many, many times. I ran 13 runoffs and never won one. I would have won in 85. I should have won the national runoffs in Spec Racer, and all I did was miss one gear, second to third gear upshift. It didn't go in right away the first time. I had to put it in the second time. That's the mistake you can't make.
And that was in 85, and you still remember exactly when that happened?
I'll never forget it. I led every single lap of that race and into that, and led that last lap until one corner from the finish, and then missed the gear. And so, I mean, you have to be perfect. Everything about these cars has got to be spot on.
We see the cars streaming out now. It'll be 2 rows of 2 as they come off their formation lap coming out of the false grid there. We see a number of the competitors. You'll see the competitors' names across the screen. We'll keep you up to date on the timing and scoring. We'll give you the rundown as well as they align here on grid. We see now the second row being allowed out, led by that 0-1 of Chris Current, who will start back in 25th. So the first 24 cars are already on course. They're just waiting their turn now as you see how eloquently it's done. These corner workers, the grid workers, they all have a plan. They all have a job to do. And we got to give, again, a credit and thanks to the volunteers that are our workers here in SCCA who have made this seamless, really. That's a big class to handle, and they've got them all lined up, ready to rock when we're supposed to.
And like Biz said, this is a class where you can get off the couch, go out and purchase a car, run. You'll never have more fun. I can tell you that right now. This is the most fun thing you can do. These cars are very, very safe. I was a crash test dummy, I know. I wrecked these things bigger than anybody ever did. And they're big, strong cars, and the racing is none better than this. It's going to be an awesome, display. And no matter where you are, where your talent level is, you might be at the front, you might be in the middle, you might be fighting for 37th and 36th, but you're going to be fighting with somebody.
It's going to be fun to watch, and the grid will be led by Brian Schofield, the defending race champion. He's a gold medalist just one time. It happened a year ago here. The 36-year-old out of Lakeland, Florida, will line up next to Richard Spicer, the number 65 machine. He's out of Laurel, Maryland. He's got 2 gold medals hanging around his trophy case. Row number 2 will be the number 58 of Cliff White, the Rocky Mountain Division champion. And Scott Reddick, we talked about Scott. He's had an awesome season this year. We'll tell you more about him. He starts 4th in the number 17 Alliance Autosport Springboro Car Wash Machine. In row number 3 is the number 31 of Jeff Beck, a veteran out of Ingleside, Illinois. Second in June Sprints, he's the Central Division champion. We talk about experience and how to play here, getting a chance to race here a bunch at Road America. Row number 3 is the number 24 of Todd Harris on the outside out of Portland, Oregon. Great qualifying run for the 06 bronze medalist. Row number 4, starting 7th, Trey Ayers out of Woodstock, Georgia. He finished 8th here at the runoffs in 4th at the runoffs in 2008. Dean Cunningham, the 69, will go off 8th out of Orland Park, Illinois. It's his 3rd chance at winning a medal here at the runoffs. Jim Marinangel has 1 gold medal, finished 4th here last year in Spec Racer Ford in the number 5. He'll start 9th. To his outside, Rick Bartuska out of Inverness, Illinois. 9th in national points, 2nd in the Central Division. Row number 6, the number 79 of Scott Goolsby out of Prior Lake, Minnesota, the Land O'Lakes region. He's won his in-division race at Brainerd International and finished 3rd in Central Division. So we talk about Sendiv, all these guys, a lot of laps here at Road America. Quickly now, starting 12th, the 77 is David Donovan. He's got a bronze medal from 2003. Row number 7 is the 21 of Steve Fogg at 45 years of age. To his outside, the 67 of Andrew Charbonneau, 2010 Spec Miata gold medalist. Row number 8, the 72 of Lee Hill of Brandon, Florida. Southeast Division, 3rd in the standings this year. Starting 16th, the number 9 of Steve Pence. His 2nd chance at the runoffs. Starting row number 9 and 17th, the 05 of Chad Galloway in his first ever national championship runoffs. He is outside the number 6 of Peter Jankowskis and Bo Martin's Elite Autosport Spec Racer Ford. Starting 19th, the 06 of Richie Stanley out of New Smyrna Beach, Florida. His first runoffs, he came here and finished 19th in the June Sprints. this season. Starting 20th, the number 8 of Jean-Luc Liberato out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Finished finished third on the podium in DSR in 2007. Row number 11, starting 21st, the number 19 of Grayson Strathman, the 18-year-old making his first run here at the Runoffs. To his outside, the 95 of Mark Hutchins out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Fourth in the Midwest Division. He's had 4 top 5s in 4 races this year, has Hutchins. We'll see how he advances from 22nd. Starting 23rd, Denny Stripling. National points number 3 in the standings, 6 wins in 12 events this season. Starting 24th, the 11 of Bruce Myers out of Greenland, New Hampshire. Finished 6th here in the June Sprints as he tuned up for the National Championship Runoffs here this weekend. Starting row number 13, the 01 of Chris Current out of Silver Spring, Maryland. He's a number 01, 67 years young. Starting 26th, the number 51 of Art Kopp. It's his second chance at the Runoffs. 10th in national championship points and second in his division, the Southwest, is Kerry Bonner. He'll start 27th in car number 81. Starting 28th, the number 47 of William Douglas out of Appleton, Wisconsin. Finished 7th here last year. Row number 15, the number 64, Matt Gray out of Ohaska, Minnesota. Land O'Lakes region finished 10th. In 2010, he finished 20th, advancing 10 spaces from where he started. We'll see if he can get better than 29th here. We see the grid now forming up 2 by 2. The rest of the field includes Lee Douglas, Tim Gray, Tom Burt, Jim Murray, Wade White, Jim Nelson. Our final 2 competitors to start, Roy Hillenberg and Todd Butler out of Yamhill, Oregon, in his first ever Runoffs. He'll be tail on the field in 37th as we come up the hill. Dorsey, this should be exciting to watch going into turn 1, won't it?
Yeah, hold your breath because they're all headed down there, 37 of them. These are awesome cars to drive. They're a lot of fun. Sealed engines, can't work on them. Everybody's got the same stuff. Who drives the best will show today.
2 by 2 up the hill here for 13 circuits or 40 minutes. Whichever comes first to determine the Spec Racer Ford and national champion here as they make their up the hill.
Start.
Yeah, Spicer really holding him in check here. The 61 on the inside is Schofield. The blue machine on the outside is Richard Spicer.
Now
and we're green.
Watch for the stack up at the behind, because what happened there, by slowing the start in the front, those guys don't have as long of an acceleration as the guys way back here in 20th and 25th. They're going to have more top speed when they get to turn 1. Here we go.
3 wide down the hill into turn number 1. A very sweeping right-hander here. Spicer stuck in the middle of the sandwich. He'll break clean there, though, and maintain his second position.
Everybody goes 2 by 2, several rows deep now as they go toward turn 3. It's a good overtaking area, but by side like this, they want to get straightened out on the straightaway, Jim.
Schofield on the inside, but Spicer able to maintain the momentum through the first 3 corners now.
Yeah, see the first 2 guys, they go single file. That's the way to do it, because side by side you're pushing more air. It's going to slow you down. If you want to get on this long straightaway, you want to be single file.
Cliff White is hanging back there in third, Rocky Mountain Division champion. We'll see how he can match up with these 2 aged veterans, skilled veterans at front. Schofield in the white with the blue swipe on the nose, and the 61 will take the lead, or will he now? As Spicer challenges the outside on the right and the left-hander here, turn 5.
Real close side-by-side drafting right there. They almost did touch, but they made it through clean, and they're side-by-side head up the hill. Now back to single file.
We talked about how tight this field is. Look at the competitors heading up the hill into turn number 6. All 37 cars fit on that little short straightaway.
Too wide.
Spicer has the lead now. He's finally been able to establish the point momentarily. Brian Schofield out of Lakeland, Florida, runs in second here.
What you want to do is hopefully top 5 guys try to pull a breakaway. It's not going to happen yet. You look at all these guys, it's got it worked out really well. Single file. And they'll stay like this down the straightaways. If they do overtaking maneuvers, it's going to be, at the very closest point to the corner that they'll try to make some sort of a move.
Well, the top 20 will have that same idea.
Yes.
They're all single file right now.
And, that's the whole thing with this drafting now. You see them all pull up real close to one another. And it's not only just being in close proximity to the car in front of you, but you want to sight down the side of these cars if they're all perfectly in line. Now, here we go, pass for the lead, possibly.
Schofield must have been watching our coverage on SpeedcastTV.com of the last event, because the pass was made for the win here in Canada Corner. Schofield to the inside of Spicer.
24 right there, dropping wheels on the brake zone. That's Todd Harris, and that could have been catastrophic had he spun into that crowd behind him.
Safely around. Again, this is the opening circuit of the Spec Racer Ford SCCA National Championship runoff event. 13 laps the duration, and Schofield back out front.
Yep, got that pass made down in Canada. Now he's set sail. And you see now it's starting to break away a little bit. You got the first 5 with a couple car lengths back to the 6th. And that's what you got to watch out for, because you can lose that draft right now.
Well, you can see the gap there just by 2 cars sitting too wide up here on the front straightaway, how much they're losing here on the lead 6.
Yeah, you got to posture yourself. I mean, there's a good draft right there. Look at that. Little push-shove. That should really pay dividends at the end of the straightaway.
Dean Gunningham in the 69 trying to gain position there as they go 2 wide, now almost 3 wide heading into turn 1.
So you can do that. You can run right up on the back of somebody like that. These bumpers, there's no bumpers, but the bodywork match is good enough. And then you just stay up in there like that until you get close to the brake zone. Then you just back away a little bit so there's a little room there.
And Scott Goolsby in that silver 79 was able to take advantage on Cunningham as he was the inside position into 1 and get that spot.
You know, it's complex racing because, you know, you're running with, you're taking one position at a time when you try to make a pass. You don't get these 2 and 3 positions like you see in other classes. You know, you just got to take it one, it's move up one, but you always have to have a place to go. Once you make that pass commitment, there's got to be a place to get the car back in line.
Spicer again trying to challenge here. He's not going to stay single file for long. We talked about how they can pace themselves.
He takes
no
Scott
pace
Reddick.
here. Exactly.
No, takes Scott Reddick with him, and that was great driving by Scott Reddick. And 2 wide up the outside of the racetrack. He's going to lose 4 or 5 positions now.
Spicer not participating last year in the 2010 edition of the Runoffs and now loses first, second, third. Back to fourth is that Baby Blue 65. That's Spicer now trying under pressure from Jeff Beck now for a top 5 run in the 31.
You see what happened when Spicer made that move and he looked like he was going to go down there. Reddick went with him. He popped out from about 4th place and moved up those positions. Like I say, you got to watch what's going on around you, and you always have to be with somebody.
Blake twice, and you're back to 4th for Spicer up at turn 5.
He's lucky he got back in there with all these cars are running.
Spec Racer Ford action, hot and heavy up front. Scott Reddick now has the lead. There's Cliff White, out of the Rocky Mountain Division division champion, and believe it or not, Scott Reddick has actually been passed on the racetrack.
It'll happen. I mean, the thing is, when you get it, or somebody gets a run on you, and you see that they're going to pass you, let them pass you. Let them get by as quickly as possible and tuck right back in so you don't get further back.
Reddick makes the pass on Schofield. I was referring to Schofield early on in the opening moments of this broadcast about Schofield leading every lap 2009 except for the final half. Here he goes on the 61 to take that lead back. On the 17 of Reddick. He led every lap last year and won the gold medal. Reddick has had a great season this year in the number 17 machine. Again, a national champion last year in the Formula Enterprises class. Out of Camden, Ohio, second here in Spec Racer Ford in national points in 2011.
Schofield was smart there. When he saw with Reddick that he was not going to be able to get that pass, he tucked right back in and aborted that attempt so that it didn't fall back, because look at those 4 guys right behind him.
This is the gap you talked about, Dorsey. These top 5, in a matter of what's the second pack going to need to do here to close things up?
Exactly what they are doing. They're running in a pack of their own, and they're running pretty tight except for the one that's trying to make a pass there. That's slowing up the progress a little bit. The second pack needs to work together, too, to catch the first pack.
That's Jim Marin-Angel trying to get a position here as they head up to turn number 1 in the number 5 machine.
This will help. This 3 wide. This 3 wide in turn 1 and 2 lanes deep. That's going to help that second pack catch up. Watch.
That's Scott Reddick on the outside. That's Cliff White to the inside. Cliff White, does he know any better? Heck no. Scott Reddick has all the championships. The Rocky Mountain Division champion is now being heard from in that number 58 machine.
And now you see that second pack has, in fact, catch up.
We did see one of the Gale machines working in turn 1 on the outside. Drivers left, but we remain under green here. Heading down what is not really a corner, but we call it 4 under this horizontal bridge, down into turn number 5. 4A.
Turn 3 is really turn 2, but oh well.
Here's 4A. Now we're coming into 5, and it's leading the way is Scott Reddick. Then comes Richard Spicer. Cliff White runs 3rd. Back in 4th is the 61 machine of Brian Schofield. 5th is Jeff Beck in that multicolored 31.
Yep, and you see that top 5. Just like I said, there'd be a 5-car breakaway there. That's the way you want to do it. Those guys are working together. Behind them, that next group of 5, if they can stay not racing each other, they can catch back up with these guys. But if they continue to go side by side everywhere, they will slow each other up.
Cliff White is in his 7th runoffs, as is Scott Reddick. They're racing now with 2 veterans. Up front, it's the 17 machine.
The first 2 cars in the second group are working really good together. They're bump drafting, they're pushing. Those 2 right there are doing a really good job, and they will catch that front group. Unfortunately, the guys behind them that are in that second pack are fighting furiously and hindering that whole group.
Great look here at how close they're running together, trying to stay slipstream in the draft here.
Oh, this is going to get interesting here.
Cliff White is the leader there in that purple-hued 58. 65 Spicer started on the front row, runs in 3rd now in that blue number 65. Finally past us, Spicer now makes the first move to the inside of White. Into Canada corner comes Spicer. You can see the tail wiggle just a bit here. Under braking, he'll get that position. Battle for second wages on.
If you can do these passes cleanly, get to the inside, make the pass, and get back in single file right away, it doesn't cost you time. If you stay out there being stubborn, it slows everybody up.
Racers aren't stubborn, are they?
They tend to be.
Yeah. Well.
That's why I say you got to know the guys you're racing around. And you'll notice that first group that when they make a pass or they try for a pass, the other guy lets it happen. They get right back into single file and right back into a nice formation.
And with their maneuvers on the back half of the course, it's no longer a 4-car breakaway. Look at this. Scott Reddick again in the 61. Brian Schofield in the 61.
It's got a good run. Now, see, this is all fine as long as they don't just stay there side by side the whole time.
So Schofield in that half white, half blue 61 machine looking to gain the position on Cliff White, who pulls even now. And White will hang on to third. Drifts a bit wide.
Slide right there. Schofield, good job with car control.
A lot of trust here up front.
Oh, yeah. You're running real close. I mean, you have to run that close. So you better know what you're doing when you get there.
And if you just joined us, Brian Schofield has a message on his mirror looking back. It says, if you are objects in this mirror are losing, not too close, closer than they appear, it says are losing. Me as a driver, that word losing can be changed to closing.
Yeah, exactly.
The cars in your mirror are closing, not losing.
First 2 cars doing a real good job. Look how tidy they are. A little bit of a nose out right there. I mean, you're really good if you can stay in line. Like if you took a string and went off the headlight of the first car, go back 6 cars, and that string runs down the side of all those cars, that's a perfect draft. If you guys got sticking out a little bit, you're slowing each other up.
We just saw Richard Spicer lock up the brakes going into turn 5, a bit of it off to the right, dropping off the race course, but he maintained second here. Is that a telling sign that things are starting to get a little bit warm now? Maybe perhaps a little bit looser on the 65 of Spicer?
Or just one little mistake. These things are so equal, and they're it doesn't take much. One little slide, you drop back a tenth. A tenth is how many car lengths? It's the way it is in this class. We used to practice drafting. I mean, I had 2 teammates on my team. It was a 3-car team, and we worked on that draft because it makes all the difference. In this place, 3 long straightaways, huge difference.
4-mile course to determine the Spec Racer Ford Championship, 13 laps to duration. One of 24 events here over the course of a weekend to determine the 48th annual running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, and only 28 gold medals will be handed out. And this is an amateur run, so the contingency prizes come into play, but Spec Racer Ford, it's about being the best of the best.
And the lesser experienced guys, they're going to say, those guys up front, they've got bigger motors, or they got more horsepower than we do. And it looks that way, but it's not. You see hand signals right there. That was perfect. Get in line. That's what he said. And I was looking for that earlier in the race. Hand signals are important, Talk to the people around you, Get your hand signals going. Get tucked in behind me. Work with me here.
We saw Brian Schofield do just that, and he's running with Cliff White. Perhaps he was actually signaling to the drivers behind him. 2 or 3 of them saw that. And, it's Cliff White going off a bit there.
Drops the wheels to the outside. That's another thing that you have to watch out for if you're like 5 or 6 cars in a draft like this in a big train. If you're about the 4th car back, you can't see past those 3 cars in front of you. And if one of those guys goes off, it's like flying in formation. You usually go off with them.
Todd Harris has now joined that mix. He's behind that multicolored 31 of Jeff Beck as they're now really getting tight here, heading into turn number 1. The leader's now in frame, the 17 of Scott Reddick leading Spicer, but here it is, 3 cars battling for third.
Okay, the 31 car really wanted to work to the inside and was trying to get anybody to go with him. That was Jeff Beck. Jeff's in the multicolored car. He was trying to get that whole line to move to the inside. Smart thing to do. You can't go there by yourself. You have to pull some guys with. 2, 3 cars are faster than 1.
Beck in 5th. The 24 of Todd Harris runs 6th behind him now as those 5 cars are chasing the pair just ahead of them. That is for the race lead.
And the race lead guys doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Look at that. Tidy as can be. Just straight right up underneath one another. That nose sticking out a little bit would be better if he was inside, but he's got to be able to see too.
Race leader is the 17 of Scott Reddick, again the champion and former of the Enterprises last season. Reddick won the June sprints, looking to back it up here at Road America in the Fall Classic, the National Championship Runoffs here at Road America for the 3rd straight year.
These guys behind Jeff Beck in that multicolored car, these guys are fighting each other really hard, and it's going to, sooner or later, it's going to shuffle them back because they're not in line with these other 2. And you can see how good that works on the front 2. I mean, these guys are not popping out. They're not looking at each other to try and pass. They're trying to pull away from this angry little group here.
Richard Spicer has 4 medals to prove how indeed
yeah,
he can work together.
And that was a little bump, sends one of the cars wide. When I say angry little group, there's too much movement going on back there. And none of those guys is really in tune with the other guy as to what's going on here. So you see all that shuffling around. That's everybody kind of not knowing. It's not. You can see it from the outside looking in that there's going to be trouble in that area.
Good look at that petty blue 67 of Andrew Charbonneau. Started back in the 14th position in the 67 machine. Action continues here at Road America in the SCCA National Championship Runoffs on SpeedcastTV.com. Spec Racer Ford in earnest, on track. We'll be back with more action right after this.
This portion of the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.
Welcome back to Road America, and Lap 6 is underway. We're working Lap 6 of the Spec Racer Ford in the 2011 SCCA National Championship Runoffs at Road America. Currently led, I say currently because it may change here, Dorsey, currently led by the 17 machine of Scott Reddick. Leading Richard Spicer in that blue 65. They've done exactly what you're telling them to do if they can hear you, Dorsey. Stay in line, get a gap here.
Top four guys have a lot of experience in this class of racing. They know what they're doing, and you can see it, and you can see how effective it is. This now is a four-car race, and it's because the second two are working together now as well. They're not fighting each other. They're pushing each other forward.
And that pairs Brian Schofield in the 61, leading the 58 of Cliff White out of Vail, Colorado. Cliff finished 12th in the national standings. This is his 7th runoff. So again, that all plays a factor in figuring out how to get this gap on the field.
This was what was so instrumental with us when we had three cars, three teammates, is that you could have three cars already out of the five that you need or so to get this kind of a draft working. This is perfect. Two cars leading two cars. And you see nobody made a move. Nobody popped to the inside. They stayed nice and in line.
And is Schofield taking all advantage of this? Because with that 2x2, he's actually gaining ground on the lead pair.
And watch now. Watch what happens with Schofield in particular. You'll see hand signals. He'll be signaling to the car behind him to say, okay, we're going to go. I'm going to the inside, but you got to come with me. You know, if Schofield goes to the inside by himself, he's going to lose ground. If the two cars move together simultaneously, they're going to go right by.
Schofield sits third in that group of four. Now, if I'm running second right now, and I'm Richard Spicer, I've got a ton of experience here. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing ahead of me. Does he know how close those pair are behind him?
Yeah, he knows they're right there behind him. You know, they've run them down in essence. You know, that second pair's run down the first pair because there was a pretty big gap there at one point. Now there's not. If you're in second place, you can't do anything. The only move you've got is to watch for those two behind you, and if they pop to the inside with them. And unfortunately, what you're doing there is you're punting your lead guy out of the way.
But you want to be the lead duck, though, on that V formation to get that advantage.
You're driving out the front, you're driving out the back. You know, if Schofield decides to go to the inside, he takes the purple car with him, then if I'm in the second place car, I'm moving with those guys.
Richard Spicer in that second place car is from Laurel, Maryland, in his 11th SCCA National Championship runoff. 4 medals he's won over the course of time with 2 pole positions. Started on the front row here today and now runs second, just ahead of the 61 of our pole sitter, Brian Schofield, the defending champion at Spec Racer Ford.
Yeah, it's an intriguing little game they're playing there right now. You know, you're all for yourself, but you also have to be buddies with somebody to get to where you got to go. But, you know, at the last minute, when it comes to time, you dump your buddy.
Well, look at Cliff White here. Just a little bit of an error dropping those lefts. He's now lost the lead draft, if you will.
And here it's happening in front, too. We've just got the pop going, and watch what happens.
Spicer now gets the move on the 17 of Reddick. He'll take the 61 of Schofield with him.
Yep, that was exactly what I was talking about. You're waiting for somebody to make the move. You know, whoever's going to make that pass attempt, you go where the most of the cars are. Side with where the volume that looked like it was almost trouble there.
Dance with who you're with, and it turns out the 65 of Spicer had Schofield in sync with him as they made their way around the race leader. Scott Reddick now will find himself third coming up the front stretch at lap number 7.
But you see their discipline. See what happened now that that's all shuffled out? Look, they're right back into single file, right tight formation, tight lengthwise and widthwise.
Chad White runs fourth. Here's the battle for fifth, side by side.
Look at this. Good tucked up draft. You'd think that's one car. There's two there.
Trey Ayers getting stuck on the outside as the two go pushing up the front stretch. Led by the 24. That machine is driven by Todd Harris out of Portland, Oregon.
That was a good push. That was a good bump draft right there.
And Reddick is back to the second position, getting by Spicer heading to turn 1. Spicer in the blue car now sits third. He's not ready to settle for that, is he?
He's got nowhere to go. That's the problem. He's trapped to the inside right now, which isn't a bad place to be trapped. I mean, it's better than trapped outside, but he really couldn't clear anybody.
So Spicer and Reddick kind of going back and forth here. Schofield assumes the point again under the Sargento Bridge. Reassumes the point, I should say.
And there's enough time left in the race to feel each other out. That's what they're doing right now. They're just checking each other out. You're not going to pay a big penalty because there's enough time in the race to get back a position if you should lose it. And here we go.
Here comes Spicer and Reddick trying to get by Schofield here.
And
this is the second group going for fifth on back.
And they're going to catch up if they keep up like that. Now they're going to mess each other up.
Dean Cunningham leads the group this time into turn 5 for fifth in the 69.
Interesting racing, though, no question about it. See the difference? The lead group all in line. Here's guys side by side. You can't go fast side by side.
Good look at Trey Ayers' machine out of Woodstock, Georgia, in his fourth runoffs. He's had one top 5 run to his credit, trying to get that fifth position away from that group behind him. Top 4, like you said, Dorsey.
Nice tidy group.
Tied together.
They're not really messing with each other, but what you're going to see at that top group, that top 4, is that there's not going to be a single car move. It's going to always be double car moves. You're going to always go to the inside, and somebody's going to go with you.
Ayers is fifth, back in sixth at the 24 of Harris now. Laps are winding down. We're past halfway in the Spec Racer Ford run to the national championship. The gold medal will be awarded to one driver. Gold, silver, bronze. There's 4 drivers to determine who gets the top 3 podium spots.
One of the cars off on the outside, and that second group is going to really slow that pack up. That's probably going to shuffle the last 2 out of that pack, actually. Yeah, these guys are thinking right now, I've only got a handful of laps. When do I want to make my move? Do I want to try to keep this to the last lap? Everybody's going to be thinking that. Or should I do it the lap before the last lap? You know, you're going to see it get desperate with, like, I'd say 3 laps to go. Things are going to get not as friendly as they are presently.
Richard Spicer mixing things up front. He's at the lead now in that blue number 65 machine. We talked about his runs to the gold medal. Twice it happened in 2001 and 2002, both at Mid-Ohio. So this could be his first chance at Road America gold here today.
Well, you got 44 hundredths of a second there. That's what you're looking at between these cars.
And Cliff White dropping back just a bit in fourth. That must mean a bit of anxiousness, I would think, for Scott Reddick running in the 61 machine. If he sees him gapping, he's like, I got to pair up now with second place. I got to work with who's ahead of me, not the guy behind me.
Well, if you're in fourth, one thing you can do is you can drop back intentionally, and because not out of the draft, but drop away from that group and get a run at them. Because once you get closer, it's going to pull you in there, and then the time you pop out to try to get a pass made from fourth, you got more latitude in fourth than these other guys have in the middle.
Cliff White did exactly that. He got back into the mix here in that purple number 58 machine. White again out of Vail, Colorado, the Rocky Mountain Division champion with 2 victories this season.
See, if he can get a run, if he backs away and gets a run, and he can carry that momentum down here in the break zone, he can pick off at least one of those guys.
And that will change the mix one more time. We're working in lap 9.
See, again, this is what I talk about all the time. If you make a pass, where would you go? There's no gap between any of those cars. So there's no need to try to make a pass, because if you get to the inside, where are you going to go?
Sure.
There's no hole to slot.
You'll lose air, right?
You're not going to pass all 4 of them.
Yep.
You know, or all 3 of them.
You would try, though. I'd give it a shot.
Well, you could wreck 2 of them.
I didn't say that, nor are we condoning that.
There is that option.
Great
trouble there. One of the
tire.
cars, purple car, the tire,
Left
broke.
rear.
Left rear axle broke.
We saw him drop the lefts off of one portion of the course, and Cliff White, unfortunately, the fourth car in line.
Yeah, that was a ball joint.
Major issue there.
Left rear ball joint broke. Did a good job of holding on to that. Saw it coming out of turn 7 up there, that wheel laid over. These have rubber ball joints at the tops of the spindles, and they do fail, and that one did.
Great work by our SpeedcastTV.com crew to capture that. Unfortunately, the heartbreak and the success, it's all in one big batch here at the National Championship Runoffs. Richard Spicer leading the 17 of Scott Reddick and the 61 of Brian Schofield. A 3-car breakaway. One more look at it here.
Yeah, see the tire? Look at the left rear sticking out from the wheel well. It broke coming through 7. It's definitely a ball joint failure at the top of the upright. I know that. I've done that.
Man, Cliff White, unfortunately, will end his season near the wall. Driver's left, and a great job of saving it.
Did a really good job of getting that thing woed and kept it off the wall in that grass.
Wow. And the grass, again, it's been wet here. Anything could happen when you don't have complete control of your race car with 4 tires underneath you. Good job by Cliff White.
That changes the complexity of what's going to go on up here in the 3, because now you don't have 2 tidy little groups anymore, two-car groups. Now you've got 3 guys, and it's going to be odd man out. There's going to be somebody now if I would want to be the lead guy.
We've talked about pairing up. Is Spicer in the best spot here in the 65? Because, there we go.
See, they're going to move in 2s.
That's exactly the point. Scott Reddick will lead now the 61 of Brian Schofield.
It's going to displace down to 3rd place more than likely. He's looking to the inside.
Reddick's not done looking, is he?
Now, Reddick was looking there.
Going for more in the 61. He wants to win back-to-back national championships. Reddick now runs 2nd. And Spicer challenged at the inside again.
Spicer runs down the inside and is going to get a run here. No doubt. He's going to take that position right back.
Reddick's tail wagged twice. Spicer's car kept true, and he got 2nd spot back.
Got a good run there, but payback's coming at the end of the straightaway. and if the 2nd and 3rd place car keep racing each other hard like that, it's going to let the leaders start to inch away. So they're going to have to watch that they make these passes or these attempts cleanly. Here we go again.
We see the difference now between the lead 3 and this whole gaggle coming after him.
And that gaggle, if it got single file, would catch him, but they're not doing that.
Ayers in the 7, Cunningham in the 69. The 24 is still in the mix. That's Todd Harris.
Yeah, these guys are fighting for 4th place so hard that they'll never catch that lead group.
What we didn't see, because we were dipped away to commercial, was Jeff Beck came down pit road in the 31 machine. We talked about the veteran, the multicolored car that was in the mix. Unfortunately, he had to make a quick pit stop.
Yeah, something wrong at the front of that car. They addressed something on the nose, and he went back out, but he lost all that position. Don't know if he had grass in the radiator or what the issue was up there, but he didn't stay in the pits long, that's for sure.
Scott Goolsby now to the backside of the 7 of Trey Ayers. That's a good run for Goolsby. He was in the mix early on, has continued to stay in the top 10 run here.
Good look at the carousel. Really long downhill corner. One of the scariest corners that used to be much worse. The guardrail was right at the edge of the track before. And the kink. Flat out, no lift. And it's scary. Let me tell you, even in these cars, it's a handful.
You driving a pace car, you driving a club car, going into that corner, it looks like the world's going to end because all you see is a wall in front of you and you got to make a right-hander. You're saying go flat out on it.
Yeah, and it's a scary
What does your body tell you? I want to lift, I want to lift.
Oh, your foot definitely wants to lift, no doubt. And these guys still now running off laps. We're kind of getting toward the end of it now.
Working lap 10 of 13 here to determine the national championship in the Spec Racer Ford category. One of 24 national races, 28 different divisions on track this weekend.
Any of these guys, any one of those 3 cars is capable. They're all winners in their own right already, and they're all setting up waiting for the whatever in their mind is the best last-ditch effort. And it's all drafting. It's all about drafting. Remember, all the horsepower are the same. Good draft there. Look at these 2.
That's Spicer leading the 17 of Scott Reddick. Are they trying to get a bit of a gap here on Brian Schofield?
They would like to, no doubt about it. It'd be better to have 2 than 3, but that's how tidy you need to be. You saw, it looks like one car. You don't even see the second car. It's up underneath so much.
Getting it figured out here in the later stages of Spec Racer Ford.
Obviously, you have to have total trust in who you're with, too, because the second place car, when he's up underneath the back like that, you can't see anything. You're just, riding along there.
Spicer's been able to win 2 races in division this year, the Northeast Division at Pocono and the Thunderbolt course at New Jersey Motorsports Park. What a great resurgence for him if he's able to nail it down. Did not compete here last year in the National Championship Runoffs. Did Spicer, now leading in that blue machine as the laps continue to click away.
The great thing about this class is no matter what division you're from in the country, you're going to have races like this. Every single race you do is going to be just like this because it's a big class across the country. There's a lot of these cars. They're all equal cars, so you always have good races. You learn a lot in this class.
Top 3 cars working through turn number 6. We're working lap 11 of 13 here. Spicer leading the 17 of Reddick and the 61 of Brian Schofield, last year's champion. Came here and finished 7th at the June Sprints out of Lakeland, Florida, so certainly the trip to Wisconsin, he certainly wants to pay it off with something to hang around his neck. The shinier the better.
Spicer looks really good. I think he's pretty good for the win. Depending on what happens to the next two, Reddick and Schofield are fighting each other. Schofield was odds-on favorite, I would say, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you can count him out by any means, but for Spicer, looking in the rearview mirror, seeing those two guys tussle with each other is something I'd like to see if it was me.
Reddick started in 4th. Schofield on the front row along with Spicer, so certainly their qualifying has held true here in this Spec category. Spec Racer 4 again, laps winding down. At this point now, Dorsey, there's Jeff Beck. We see him back on course in the 31. Good job by Jeff to maintain position here. Try to get a rundown on the scoring serial to see where he is currently running.
Of course, he was on the pit lane, so he had to drop quite a lot, which is a shame because that was a competent car.
37 cars in class.
He's in 12th place right now, Jeff Beck is.
It was a very quick stop on pit road, but it just unfortunately took him out of any chance at a medal. Battle for 12th here. Good job by Beck.
He'd be a good car for these guys to tag in with.
Exactly, yeah, you're learning a lot there, aren't you?
Yeah, he was a good qualifier. He's a fast car. I would tuck in with him. If I saw him come by, I would use him to help me along.
So a good look there at Steve Fogg, and the number 21 out of Westland, Oregon, his second chance at the Runoffs. First one came in 2009 where he finished 17th. So if he can learn from Jeff Beck, top 10 is something he's going to eyeball for next year. This year even.
And you see this all the time. If all these cars are exactly the same and everything's totally equal, how come those guys up front are so far up front? How do they outrun all these guys? And it's because they know how to race. They know how to race these cars. They know how to draft and get the momentum and keep the momentum up. The other guys keep scuffling with each other and they just drop further back. It's really hard. It's hard to. It's a disciplined type of event. You really have to have your head on straight and know how to get the job done.
Jeff Beck has moved into 9th position now in that number 31 machine. So again, that is a top 10 run, a solid effort by Jeff Beck. This is the position battle for fourth. Excuse me.
When you got 37 cars and you make a pit stop and you're still in 9th, yeah, you're doing good. No doubt about it.
The top 3 are up and gone from this group, but here they come. The 79 right now leading this group, and 4th is Scott Goolsby.
In this group, the second group, again, continually every single lap racing each other into the corners slows them up. I mean, they are fighting for that position, no doubt about it, but they have no chance whatsoever to catch the lead guys when the lead guys are running clean like they are.
Trey Ayers in that group, and the number 69 is Dean Cunningham. He's also in that group out of Makina, Illinois.
But they're having fun.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about that. These guys are having a good time.
I was in 4th, and I was 5th, and I was 6th, and I was 4th.
Well, that's it.
I can recall that race.
Yeah, this is just full hard racing.
Jim Marinangel there, the 3rd car in line.
And I say it's disciplined racing, and I say this all the time, and we make fun of it, but you can't win this race to the end. These guys are racing like it's the last lap every single lap, and like I say, you got to discipline yourself to do like we said was going to happen, a 5-pack breakaway, 5-car breakaway, or whatever to get yourself up in front.
This is 4th, 5th, 6th on back. In 4th is the 79 of Scott Goolsby out of Prior Lake, Minnesota. 3rd in the Central Division this season. Trying to finish off his good run in the 3rd effort here for all the laurels. Points for the first 2 times here at Road America for the Central Division competitors. 3rd time here at the National Championship Runoffs.
Brian Schofield's got the fastest race lap right now. That's 2:38.3. And here we go.
Jim Marinangel also in that 5 of Blackhawk Farms race win this year in the Central Division. That plays a factor in that second group, but this is the lead pack.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about right there. These guys spot on, doing the draft perfectly. Everybody in line.
Receiving the signal. Laps are winding down. Spicer leading. This has settled down a bit from early on. Spicer leading in that blue number 65. Second in line is Scott Reddick. Third in line is Brian Schofield.
Schofield takes a pop to the inside of turn 1. He's going to try to take that second position. You at some point need to move forward. That's a good clean pass. It all happens just like it's supposed to. They're back in single file.
And that's the beauty of Road America. That's not the only place you can pass around this racetrack.
This place you can pass almost every corner if you want to. And the neat thing about that was it just went fluid. The pass was made. They ducked back in line. No loss.
This is the final lap. Richard Spicer now leading this pair behind him.
So Schofield, that's his move. He just made the first move. He wants to attack now from second place. He wants to try to get to Spicer, and he will probably take Scott Reddick along with him when he does.
Let's see where the chess match plays out. It will happen, apparently.
Here we go, right now.
Well, Spicer feels it to the inside. He'll protect position here.
He protects, and the two go to the outside. We're going to try to get a run around the outside. There's enough room for side-by-side. Now he'll try to tuck up under the inside.
That's Schofield putting all the pressure on in second.
And if he can get his nose up in there, nope, he knew better. Next opportunity be down into 8. Oh, up on the curb. Spicer gets a little bit bumped on the curb. You can lose momentum that way, too.
Spicer continues to lead here through the carousel.
Watch for this down into 8. I'm sure he'll protect the inside. He's not going to let him go up in there.
To the carousel, excuse me. That was turn 6, turn
Yeah,
7, now
8.
the right-hander. This is an important corner. This is the left-hander prior to the carousel.
Boy, and with time running out, these guys are the best opportunity ahead is going to be down into Canada. But they first have to go through this, carousel and the kink.
Got to get there first.
And you got to get a good run out of this because the next corner is flat out. You got to get a good run here, carry it, the momentum down through. It's going to be a 2-car pop when it happens. I can guarantee you that.
Well,
Reddick's going to go right along. Oh, that's a good draft. That's through
right
the
up underneath
kink.
them.
All right, watch for this down. I'm sure it's going to be a protected move to the inside of Canada.
Canada and 14 are the next 2 chances. Then it's going to be a drag race up the front stretch here in the final moments.
Here we
Spec
go.
Racer Ford.
He protects just like I would have, no doubt about that.
Through the middle goes Spicer down into Canada corner. 61 of Schofield now. Reddick right behind him. This 3-car battle is the podium run, but who's going to win the gold?
It's going to be the guy that can get through 14 the cleanest. I'd still like to be Schofield. I think second place is good. Here, he goes to the inside for the apex and makes that pass.
Wow, Spicer trying to hold position.
But he's too much speed. He's wide. He's going to lose it back.
Amazing on the final lap, final corner. Spicer leading. Schofield had it for a sneeze, and look at that.
Wide to third.
Richard Spicer will take home the gold for the 3rd time at Spec Racer Ford of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
Schofield carried too much speed in there, just couldn't keep the car down on the racetrack. It got out wide, and I knew it was going to be a 2-car pass. There was no doubt in my mind whenever it happened.
Scott Reddick will take home the silver, and Brian Schofield in the final corner gives up the lead and will finish 3rd.
Well, these guys drove good. I'll tell you, that was a really good display. Here's Jeff Beck coming up through. Unfortunate for him, he made that pit stop. We don't know what happened at the front of the car, but it took him out of contention. And that was a great drive for Beck. It ended up in 9th.
Good job by the entire field. Again, we only saw 1 car being towed in from off course. It was the 15 of Rick Bartuska.
Well, we didn't have the big crash that I was talking about early on. Everybody did a good job there.
The action up front was certainly worth the price of admission here on SpeedcastTV.com. Spicer will take home the gold medal. He's still on the gas. Adrenaline flowing through every part of his body.
Yeah, I said he did look good. The other guy's fighting. Here's what happens. Schofield gets down in here, pops to the inside. He's got a lot of speed, gets to the apex, but now he can't get the car stopped. The car's going to wash out wide, and when he does, that leaves the inside open.
Spicer takes the advantage there. You see him take a tight corner, and his exit was perfect, and he went on to victory. Great look there at the run to the checkers. And it was decided on the final corner, as you anticipated, Dorsey. Whoever gets through 14 clean can take this.
Yeah, Schofield made his move, got up into second place. He had some agenda going, but I think he didn't want to do the way he did. I don't think he wanted to. I would have personally stayed behind and tried to do the run up the straightaway, but,
So you think he ducked early then?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have gone that early. And his entry was just...
It's easier to pass on a straightaway than it is through the middle of a corner, that's for sure.
As the rest of the field continues to flow through the checkered flag.
And he had drafting help. He wasn't alone. If he'd have popped the inside coming up straightaway, certainly Reddick would have followed.
Art Kopp, we just saw come across the line in 27th position. The field again on the warm-down lap after 13 laps complete. This is a warm-down lap and a celebratory one at that. Richard Spicer does get one more time around this race course with the checker flag in hand, as he's now saluting the corner workers and the fans here at Road America as the champion.
When you win one of these Spec Racer Ford races, you deserve it because you race with somebody. Like I say, it doesn't make any difference what position you're racing for. It's a second pack. I'm not coming down on that second pack. I mean, they raced really hard with each other. They raced good races, every one of them. As a result, we didn't have any big crashes or anything like that. But it's a funny way to have to win, to play the odds, if you will, and run these draft packs. Yeah, those guys had a great time.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Yep, and again, they travel from all parts of North America to come here to play against the best competition. Richard Spicer proves for the 3rd time he is the best of the best. First time in 9 years he'll receive the gold medal around his neck at the SCCA National Championships. Great run by Spicer in his 11th national championship run. He's got also a pair of third-place finishes to add to his medal total.
And look at the attention to detail on the car, what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Look how absolutely pristine that car is. Every piece fits perfectly to the next. A lot of effort went in there. They don't stay that way.
Nope, and we see the 61. And again, a great run all race long. What a great battle. We wanted to show you more of the cars in the race, but we could not take our attention off of this great classic run. Cliff White also in the mix for a while, as was Jeff Beck. Unfortunately, mechanical for Cliff White took him out of this lead effort. But the top 3 now on pit road. 37 cars started the Spec Racer Ford field. 3 get the honors of winning a medal at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs here, the 48th running. And it appears that things are getting in place with our race victor. Getting a bit of a drink of water. That checkered flag, I'm telling you, there's nothing more special. This is an amateur race, guys. This is not for big money. A lot of pride on the line, and certainly a worthy champion.
Richard, congratulations. We're going to get you your gold medal here in a moment, but I don't know anyone who had more fun out there all day long than you did. Take us through the opening laps. I counted 4 lead changes on lap 1. First of all, let's start out there.
Brian is so good around here that it was my plan just to not let him lead. I figured if we could keep him out of the lead, we'd have a better shot. And no, it was the first lap was, like I said, I just wanted to lead the race as much as I could. We got in the middle of the race. Scott and I got out there, and I thought we might just be able to race it on our own. But, Brian, like I said, Brian's so good around here, he could rain us down. But what an incredible race. I got to say thanks to my dad for all the work he put in this year on the car. And, I'm just ecstatic.
Well, let me ask you about this. These are spec cars, okay? They're supposed to all be the same. What makes the difference? What gets you that extra 1/10 of a second? What gets you to be able to maintain that lead?
You work on just the smallest of changes all week long. I've been tinkering on the car all week long. Even this morning, I was making some small changes to it just to try to get a nice, consistent car for an entire race and, have something for the last lap for the win.
Where's that gold medal, Bonnie? Congratulations on a great, great drive. Look at that smile, guys. Okay, back to second place. Third place man. Where's our second place man? I'd like to get you side by side, the two of you. This is an ongoing story. Congratulations on the silver there, Scott. What a great drive for you. I don't want to say did you learn anything out there, but did you learn anything out there, mate?
Well, it was a great race. All 3 of us were really tight. It was a really clean race. I had a really strong car, not strong enough to pull away. We were all pretty equal, and I tried working with Richard and Schofield and tried to break away, but we were all just too evenly matched. But it was certainly a lot of fun.
But the confidence to be out there, nose to tail, wheel to wheel, so close. When someone goes, you've got to go, thinking in milliseconds. And you were the sandwich coming up that hill.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've been racing with them for a long time, and it's just a great time.
I'll tell you, mate, pole position, defending champion. Brian, was there nothing you could do on those last couple laps?
Well, I actually fell back there probably 5 or 6 into it, and then I caught him by myself. I think I had a faster car, so I said, you know what, with 5 to go, I'm just going to sit here, save the tires, save the brakes, and with 1 to go, I made a pass on Scott, and then on Richard, I said, I'm not here to finish second, so I'm going to go for the win or I'm going to finish third. So that's what we did. It was a good weekend. All in all, PM Racing gave me a wonderful car, and love the runoffs.
Well, congratulations to all 3 of you. Certainly the race of the day, SCCA Club Racing. It doesn't get any better than that, guys.
Out for the fans and the spectators and the other divisions watching one of their favorite classes, the Spec Racer Ford Dorsey. What a classic run it was.
You can count on this class every time. I don't care, like I say, if there's 10 cars, 20 cars, 50 cars, 100, you're going to have racing all the way through. This is a great class. And
take a look at results. There's quite a few racers in the field. Spicer, the champion. Reddick and Schofield, the podium joiners as well. Ayers, a great run. Look back down here. Jeff Beck ends up 9th.
Yeah, margin of victory less than a 10th through top 3, so that's kind of typical.
Lee Hill, a great run in the 10th. Danny Stripling recovered for 11th. We mentioned Steve Fogg had a nice run. He ended up in the 12th position. Charbonneau got a championship last year in Spec Miata, 15th in the runoffs this year in Spec Racer Ford. Peter Jankowskis finishes up 19th after starting on the grid in 18th position, holding point there. Matt Gray completes the top 20.
And you look as we go through the rest of the field, knowing all these guys, great day for every one of them. No big crashes. Hats off to the drivers there because they run close, they run hard.
Mentioned Rick Bartuska got a toe in. He had a very high hope run here. Bartuska, unfortunately, had an issue early on as he only completed a couple of laps. Cliff White, we talked about the left rear ball joint issue. He was up in 4th at the time of the incident, and he ended up in the 32nd position after he pulled off safely. David Donovan and Tim Gray round up the 37-car field here in the Spec Racer Ford edition. The 2011 edition is in the books. Richard Spicer has been given the gold medal. He now will take his lap of honor and salute the corner workers and fans and certainly take it all in, soak in the fall atmosphere and their wonderful run to a championship. His 3rd gold medal in the Spec Racer Ford category, first in 9 years for Richard Spicer, who will happily go back as a champion to Laurel, Maryland, and enjoy the offseason in preparation for yet another run at a national title. Thanks for watching, everybody. The coverage here on SpeedcastTV.com, brought to you in HD by Volkswagen. Spec Racer Ford is in the books. Thanks so much for joining us.